President and founder of ESOP Builders. We are a Canadian consultancy practice that designs and implements employee share ownership plans in Canada. We've been doing this for over 15 years and for companies right across the whole nation. This video was made to help answer some of the questions you may have when you're trying to put an employee share ownership plan into place in your company. So let's get going. In terms of eligibility, that decision is made by the owner or owners. The owner may decide, for example, that only the key people, several key people within the organization should participate, and that's fine. Or the owner or owners may decide that everybody in the company is key and it should be a broad-based plan and therefore everybody is eligible. But even in that kind of situation, eligibility is usually defined by some other parameters as well. For example, it could be length of service, it could be job responsibility, it could be how much contribution that person has made to the company over the years. So again, it's very much an owner's decision as to who will be eligible when we start the plan, and certainly as we go forward, that eligibility can change. Valuations of privately held companies are very important to the ESOP. Unlike a public company where you call your broker or look in your newspaper or look online, the value of the company is not available in a privately held company as it would be in a public company. And therefore, the privately held company must be valued using what we call generally accepted valuation principles. In Canada, there is a society called the Canadian Institute of Chartered Business Valuators that is a professional body of business appraisers that will value your company. And we suggest that you do get a CBV or a Chartered Business Valuator to do that valuation, because building trust with your employees is very important. And one of the key issues that employees have is, how do I know the value of this private company is what you tell me it is? And having a third party such as a CBV do that valuation is critical. There are several ways that an employee may cash their shares out. The most important document that the plan will produce is called a shareholders agreement. And that agreement defines how the employee liquidates or gets their shares out. So that agreement will cover, for example, death, disability, termination with or without cause. It will cover if the company is purchased. It also covers such issues as bankruptcy and matrimonial problems. And the reason we need this fairly well defined is because the employee has to know how, if they're building value, how do they liquidate that wealth? How do they get that value back out? The other issue that we do put into our plans is called a mini market. And in the mini market, which can be held annually, once a year, employees can trade their shares. So for example, an employee that may want to get rid of 1,000 shares will put that to the company. And if there's a buyer in the company who's prepared to buy 1,000 shares, then that trade is made by the company. If there are no buyers, then there are no trades. Financial information in privately held companies is usually a very closely guarded secret. And because of that, the amount of information that is available varies from company to company. In a situation where employees have actually purchased voting shares, there are set limits within the Corporate Security Act as to the amount of information that must be provided. But even within the Act, there are limits as to what that type of information is. So we have clients, for example, that give out their full financial statements to the employees that are participating in the plan. And we have other clients that limit the amount of financial information that's given. It really is up to the owners as to what they are comfortable and what they want to do. Shares in Canada can have voting or non-voting rights. And in an ESOP, it's the same situation. So for example, if you have an ESOP that has voting shares, then each year the employees will have a vote at the annual meeting. If there are non-voting shares, the employees may still be invited to the annual meeting, but they will not have a vote on the information at hand. Most employees always ask this question, and the answer is that in the ESOP industry, both in the United States and Canada, what we've seen is very, very few employees get a seat on the board of directors. Usually what's happened is the company will set up an advisory board, which is more, I would say, more tactical in nature, more operational in nature than a true board of directors, which is more in line with governance issues or legal issues. So the employees will have usually a seat at the advisory board. It's also not the greatest thing actually to be a director of a company on the board, as there are legal requirements that you have as a board of directors that you do not have as an employee. So in total, the answer is no. Generally, you do not have a seat at the board. Thank you for visiting our site. I hope some of the questions and answers that you received here will help you in your search for an employee share ownership plan for your company. Some books that may help you are, first, a book I wrote called Employee Share Ownership Plans. This is a book that will give you most of the answers you need if you're looking at setting up a plan. And you can order this book from our website. The second book I wrote, co-authored, actually is called The $10 Trillion Opportunity. This is written more for exit planners and professional advisors who are advising their owners on how to exit or transition their companies over time. I hope those books will be of interest to you, and if you do wish to purchase them, please contact us through the website, and thank you very much.